Warning, this video may contain Catholic content which may offend some people. I'm back from purgatory. So this weekend, on Friday, I went and I did the Lough Derg 3-day pilgrimage. St. Patrick's Purgatory, a little island on a lake in Donegal. I don't have any footage. I didn't take any videos. I took some pictures and stuff like that. I didn't video because, one of the things, they don't ask you to use your mobile phone, which I thought was, was great to see so many people there, and kind of being a little bit back to normal, because the island, the pilgrimage was pretty much as it was when I was there 3 years ago. So it was practically back to normal, which was, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful to go there and just experience a bit of normality without the social media. But it was hard. I didn't really want to go, to be honest. Because I knew what was going to face me. I wasn't prepared for it. But I said, God wanted me to do this. I don't know why. He wanted me there. So I said, I'll engage with this. I did the 3-day fast. So I haven't eaten a meal since Thursday. We've been eating bread and tea. Friday, yesterday, still haven't eaten anything. So I'm going to wait. It kind of challenges. No shoes for since Friday till I got off the island today, and we didn't sleep Friday evening. Had a great sleep last night from 10 to 6. Probably one of the best sleeps I've had in years. The key is to get the second duvet, but I slept so well. I had a great sleep. I'm so thankful for that sleep. So I'm kind of feeling better. Still feeling hungry, definitely feeling hungry, but I'm actually feeling better. So I'm trying to get my thoughts lined up. It's just been going around in my mind several things all weekend, and I've been asking Christ, what do you want me to do? Really challenging what we need to do in the church. How can I do something for you, Lord? What do you want me to do? And as I was driving home, we were just mentioning the amount of people that did the pilgrimage with us. So I believe 91 people, if I'm not mistaken. We all fit in the one boat, and the person that was coming home with me, two of us went up together, and he was just mentioning Psalm 91, and I just thought I'll just read the psalm for you, because I just think for those of you who are on the pilgrimage with me, this psalm might answer questions what we were discussing over the weekend. It says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High, who abides in the shadow of the Almighty, will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. For he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and a buckler. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked, because you have made the Lord your refuge, the Most High your habitation. No evil will befall you, no scourge come near your tent. For he will give his angels charge of you, to guard you in all your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the adder, the young lion and the serpent you will trample underfoot. Because he cleaves to me in love, I will deliver him. I will protect him because he knows my name. When he calls me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will rescue him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Psalm 91. A person protected by the Lord has no reason to fear evil. The Psalms, the Song of Solomon. So, we're all looking for answers. We're all looking for meaning. We're all looking, to really understand our faith. And as I said many times in this channel, I want the truth. I want to bring people to the truth. I want to bring people to that raw, living, beating encounter with Christ, the person, the second person of the Holy Trinity, the God who became man, born of a virgin. I want you to encounter the Christ of the gospel. That's really my passion, my drive, my everything at the moment. I mean, I would have gone to Lough Derg. I'm going to confess something. I went to Lough Derg once. I've been there 3 times, and once I brought sweets with me, stuff. I said, I can't do this whole fasting thing. And you're there, you're trying to engage with this, and I said, you're half in and you're half out, right? So I was half doing the pilgrimage, and I was half, lying to myself, really, because at the end of the day, it was so stupid. And so this time when I was doing Lough Derg, I said, I don't really want to go, but I'm going to go. I knew I needed to go. And I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to do the 3 days of fasting. Now, the day yesterday, not sleeping was a real challenge. I can tell you, the sleep and the stuff like that. But I did the fasting, tried not to sleep. And for anyone going to Lough Derg and you're struggling with it, because it is very ascetic. It's very, very ascetic. It's probably the most ascetic Catholic experience you'll have left, which is very strange, because in this modernist Catholic world, they've really gotten rid of asceticism, but in Lough Derg, it is ascetic. It really is. What I think helps, if you have a good group, which we had a fantastic group in Lough Derg this weekend, a good group does help the pilgrimage, because you're kind of walking the pilgrimage together. But as I said, I arrived on Friday. Someone I knew, we had asked a few men if they wanted to come, and so I arrived. Another guy who was already on the island, and then I'm walking around the island and I'm looking. Hello, God, I know a lot of these people, and it was like different group. Like I'm seeing people from different groups, and I'm saying, I know that person, and I know that person, and I've like at the men's rosary rallies, you could see some people there, and it was like strange coincidence. Like, how did this all come together that we're meeting on the island, and then the conversations that we were having, and it was just providential, and a lot of people, I'd say on their minds, everybody is just hungry for the faith. It's like, we want the faith, and this has been my whole challenge over the last number of years, is to try and dig deeper into my faith, lead others to the faith, show the beauty of our Catholic faith, and show those who have supposedly given their lives to Christ, show those who are the hierarchy of the church, the need for Catholics to return to authentic Catholic identity, in this modern world of 2022, the need for Catholics not to be a reflection of the world and to be affirming the world and everything that the world is offering, to give a different message, the message of Christ, and a message which is not easy to give today. Definitely not easy to give today. So these were the conversations we had there. There was a lot of men on the island. There was a lot of young men on the island. I found it very interesting. There was a monk. He had brought a large group from Northern Ireland, a priest. He was doing great work, and it was just. There was the HLI from Knock. They had brought another group. Actually, they were sending around flyers on WhatsApp, and that was really what was keeping me in my mind. Well, that would be a good weekend to go if we're going to go. So HLI from Knock, and there was another guy from Northern Ireland, Anto. Give him a shout out. He has a YouTube channel. He was there with a group of men, and and then there was other people were all connecting in 1991 of us, I believe, 91 I think, as far as I'm aware. So it was just fantastic to see us all move, like the Holy Spirit kind of working to make sure that we're all there connecting with each other. And we had the best conversations, during the quiet time, the best conversations on the faith, challenging each other, connecting, and let's see what comes from this. I do like Lough Derg in the sense that it's not easy. So if anyone say, oh, it's a nice little pilgrimage and you're going to go there and get well fed and feel nice, warm and cozy, you're not going to get that in Lough Derg. You're barefoot, you have no shoes, it can be cold, you're hungry, and you're tired. So you have the mixture of the not sleeping, sometimes the cold, and you're definitely hungry. You're like, I mean, I've eaten bread twice in 3 days, and I started my fast on the Thursday at 12 because I wanted to be able to eat when I got home today. So I said, I'll do fast from Thursday at 12 to Sunday at 12, so that I'll have something. But I don't recommend you do that. I think you should do what they ask you to do, is to begin your fast on the Thursday night and end it tonight, because I didn't sleep well Thursday evening, and then I was arriving on the island not having slept well, and then I wasn't sleeping for a night, and then I slept really well, but the last night. So look, I wanted to do it justice anyway, this pilgrimage justice. I wanted to try and engage with it with my whole heart as best as I could, but it was definitely interesting. So just millions of thoughts were going through my mind. It was just like, the bombardment of trying to understand where to go, what you want me to do, God, how can we renew the faith? And I suppose I'm going to come back to the themes that I've been blogging about. We need to be leaders in the faith. We need to teach our children and the next generation the faith. We need to be, digging into our faith, understanding it, loving it, showing how the beauty of it and how serious it is. This Catholicism isn't easy. The way that we're offering the world isn't easy. If it was easy, everyone wouldn't be on it. It isn't. It's a challenge. But once you enter it, it's so fulfilling. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing. It simply is. It gives so much joy, that encounter with Christ. And it deeply saddens me, and people know this from my blog, it deeply saddens me what we have done to the Eucharist. What we have done to the faith, not challenging a whole generation on what the faith is. This is the sad situation. Our kids, are screaming out to be challenged. They might say that they're not up for the challenge, but they are. We have to be able to give them the challenge, the beauty of Catholicism, not dumbed down, modernized stuff that we've been giving for the last 50 years, which really has it engaged. And I suppose I don't want to be criticizing. People know this. I love the church. I love the Mass. I will go to any Mass. I will travel to any prayer group, and I'm not going to I'm just saying, as I journey on this, and I'm journeying around Ireland, traditional groups and not so traditional groups, what is the challenge? And really, as I said, as Pope Benedict will say, what we had before Second Vatican Council, which I don't reject, what we had wasn't all bad. The Mass said in Latin, the priest praying the Mass wasn't all bad. And we seem to be rejecting, a complete side of our church now, in favor of, more modernization and more and more, which, is not feeding souls. It's not feeding souls. And we need to come back together as one church. We need to turn to the Eucharist. We need to teach the next generation how to pray. I mean, I can't emphasize how important prayer is. And people used to say to me this when I was 18, pray, how important is prayer, and blah, blah, blah. And I say, yeah, prayer, and how to meditate. I didn't get it. I really didn't get it when I was, and it's only through, I don't know why, I see it so clearly now, the vital importance of praying, and the vital importance of praying together and leading souls to prayer, directing ourselves to God, pushing God at the center and engaging our soul with that God. And that's why I say, I love traditional Latin Mass. I love that silence, that encounter with Christ. It's just, I just want to pray. I just want to encounter Christ. And I don't want when I talk about this, I don't want another division in the church. I don't want a them and us. Everybody wants prayer. I mean, and so I'm on Lough Derg, and on the island there is a chapel where the Eucharist is exposed. And I say this, and many people have commented on it. If you were to bring back any bishop from the Second Vatican Council and show them that church, they would probably run out and jump in the lake. That's not the highest way to present the Eucharist. We need to make Ireland, and be clear, we need to make Ireland a beacon for the Eucharist, a beacon for the renewal of the faith. We need to encase the Eucharist with so much beauty that it shows how serious we hold this sacrament, how serious we are about loving Christ. How many women in Ireland gave up their rings and their engagement rings to make monstrances and to help fund churches, and they gave up what was most precious to them from a material point of view for something that is more precious. Well, that was beautiful for Catholics to do, and we need to do the same. It's not about making us warm and fuzzy. It might be a very comfortable chapel. It's about how we elevate the Eucharist, and how that identity is something that universally any Catholic would understand. Yes, that is the Eucharist, and yes, you've elevated it. Because I tell you, if you brought Catholics into that chapel, they would wonder, well, what have we done? Like, what have we done to the faith? So that I'm just focusing there a bit on the Adoration Chapel, on the Basilica. In fairness to them, during the 4 masses we had in the island, everybody knelt down for communion. Everybody did, which was, we had communion kneeling on the tongue, if you wanted it, and the mass was reverent and so forth. But when it came to giving communion to the faithful, they were going and looking for extraordinary Eucharistic ministers when there was only 110 or 120 people at Mass, and there was sometimes 2, 3, 4 priests celebrating Mass. And again, I come back to, we need to have a Catholic identity, and the priest needs to embody his identity as a priest. If as parents of family, you don't like when somebody comes along, well, you're not parenting very well, and I think you should be doing this and this, and I think your parenting would be better if you brought in a third party now to start parenting to your kids, and say, no, well, I'll parent my kids. I want to be a parent, and I want to do the job right. It's a job for a father and a mother to parent their kids. Well, it's the job for a priest to be the other Christ. It's the job for a priest to feed his sheep, to feed the flock. The priest is the minister of the Eucharist. That's his job. And we're wondering why there is such a crisis in vocations in Ireland, why it's hard for us to explain this to the next generation, because the priest has lost his core identity in many places, not just in Lough Derg. And I stress this, I'm giving this advice and with good faith. We need to renew the priesthood. We need to have priests that are strong in the faith, and priests should not be afraid to say, I am the minister of the Eucharist. And if it takes 2 or 3 more minutes to give out communion, does it matter? Priests have to be priests, men of prayer, other Christs. That's their job. And it's time for priests to stand up and be men and do their job. Many women actually will comment about this, because women want their sons, for example, to be men. Every woman that has a boy or a baby, they want him to grow up to be the best man possible, to be happy and fulfilled, and to have, a family, or whatever they want to do. Women want men to be men. They want their sons to be men, and men want their daughters to be beautiful, women. Men don't. It's kind of strange. Men will look at pornography and at the same time, oh, but I don't want my daughter to do that. There's this craziness that's going on with some men, and it's important that we say we live as we should, and that our children grow up to be strong people. Women should be women, men should be men, and know what they're called to do. It's this, if men never looked at pornography, we would have thousands, or maybe hundreds of thousands of women that might have a different life, a more fulfilled life. Instead of being objectified, they would be loved. You can't. It's crazy what's going on in the world, and this is where I'm coming back to the priesthood. We need clear identity again of what a priest should do. We need priests to lead us in prayer. We don't need you to perform to us. We need you to be mystics, to lead us in prayer, to enter into that illuminative state of engaging with Christ, and to have your whole life reflecting what you have received. What I wouldn't give to have more time to, dig into prayer a bit more, to do different things, but like God calls me to one thing, he'll call others to others. And this is where I'm asking, men to be strong, to know their identity as men, and to lead in prayer, and to be leaders in prayer. And many women have commented on this. This is what needs to be done. They know this, priests know this, but it's a strange time in the church, So yeah, it was just a beautiful weekend, a very, very, very positive weekend for me. Very, very positive. A lot of conversations. Great to see so many people in the faith. The conversations, and I couldn't praise it highly enough. And I'm just asking those that can to renew the faith. Don't, especially when it comes now to how we treat the Eucharist, to how we teach the next generation the Eucharist. The church should not be afraid of the prayers that formed thousands and thousands of people, millions of people for hundreds of years. The church should not be afraid of that prayer. It shouldn't. Pope John Paul II celebrated traditional Latin Mass until he was 49 years old. That's the bedrock of what formed that saint. Do you know what I mean? And we should not be afraid to engage with the prayers of the church that form so many people. If that's what laity want to do, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to be mystics. Don't be afraid to be saints. Don't be afraid to enter into that mystery of prayer. What the things that were coming to my mind when I was in Lough Derg was the cross. Standing in front of the cross again, standing in front of that Christ who is crucified for us, touching him and knowing that Our Lady is beside him. And Our Lady is so pained at how we've treated her son. She is so... I said this to another person, she is angry. She's angry how we treat her son, how we treat God. Which... I don't know if that's the right word to be saying, but that's the sentiment I feel. She does not like her son being disrespected, especially by priests. She doesn't like priests who don't engage with being the men that they should be, other Christs. She wants us to encounter her son. He died on that cross to bring us to heaven, to show us the way. And she wants us on that way. That's something that came through to me, over the weekend. And one thing about this island, Lough Derg, is there's different places where you go and you can pray. And they have it like a centre, Davog Centre, and you can go in there and it's like you're looking over the island, and you can just sit down at a window and look over the island, and it's like you're on a boat. That's actually how the island... It's like this island is floating. So if you're looking out at the lake and you're walking around and you're seeing the waves, it's kind of weird in a way. You just feel you're on a boat. It's like the symbol of the church. You're on a boat. It actually you actually do actually you get that sense that especially if you're meditating in some places, you're on a boat. You're looking at the waves of the water. You're looking out over the water, and we need to steer this boat in the right direction. You know, we need to give direction. We need to open up a whole spiritual world that seems to be eclipsed in this world at this moment. In the Catholic Church, you know, we baptize people and we're not giving them all the treasures that they could see. And the youth are hungry for a challenge. They want to be challenged. The world will challenge them. They are hungry for meaning. They want something. I mean, and you could see this. And I'm asking the church to challenge the next generation to be leaders. I'm asking priests to be priests, nuns to be nuns. I mean, I don't know what's going on in the church that we can't have a clear identity on who we are anymore. Priests be priests, nuns be nuns, laity be laity, parents be parents. You know, let's give direction to the next generation. Let's help them. And that's really, you know, it was a lot of stuff going through my. I'm just putting it out here because I've just arrived back this morning, and it was all going through my mind, and you know, all of the weekend, and you know, but I do encourage people to go to Lough Derg. I do encourage you. If you want to be challenging, like if you want cozy Catholicism, Lough Derg isn't for you. Like if you want cozy stuff and you know, you might want to go to one of those retreats on a cruise ship that some people offer. I've never been on a retreat on a cruise ship, but I hear it's very comfortable. So if you want cozy Catholicism, go to a retreat on a cruise ship. If you want to be challenged by asceticism, you know, by fasting, by, you know, vigil, by you know, walking barefoot, go to Lough Derg. You'd be surprised. I definitely do recommend it. The experience itself isn't easy, but I get lots of. I felt after after coming off the island, and I do feel a lot more peace. It was just beautiful. You know, everyone goes to confession there. I just feel it's just helped me. It just helps me a lot. You know. And I suppose that it's the fasting and the praying and the vigil and everything going through your mind, and you're asking God for direction, for help, and He's actually giving you answers in a lot of the conversations I was having with people on the island. You know, people that you know, you couldn't have organised a better weekend. It was just brilliant. It was just amazing. The conversations that we were having, it was just I can't thank it enough. And a lot of people, you're probably looking at this video because I met you over the weekend, but you know, thanks for reaching out and thanks for the encouragement. I'll try not to shoot off the hip too much, and I am aware of this. I'm keenly aware in this channel, you know, trying to help other people, that you know, I want to lead you to Christ. That's all I want. I want you to encounter Christ. I want you to walk to Calvary and put your hand on Christ's heart and know who He is. Know who is the God who died for us. Know His mother, you know, and know that there's a whole world that's inside of you waiting to be explored. A whole dimension that you haven't seen. And it's quite, I mean, what I wouldn't have given to seeing this 30 years ago. But look, it came, it's a gift. God does what God does at different times, different people. That's life. And I'm just offering people a glimpse at something amazing that will transform your life. Leaving this message for my kids as well, you know, that, you know, it's important, the faith is incredibly important to me. It's the only thing I want to die with nothing and just say in my will, be to my kids, be Catholic. That's all I'm asking you to do. You know, I want to pass on something incredibly precious, which means everything to me. That's my mission. And that's what I want to ask others to do in Ireland. And I'm calling out men, and I'm calling people who are on Lough Derg, the 1991 people who are on Lough Derg today with me. You need to be leaders in the faith. You need to lead souls. You need to help, encourage, mentor, and bring them along with you. Especially those that were young. There was a lot of students there, late teens, early 20s. You need to understand. You need to be leaders in the faith. You need to show the beauty of Catholicism. And we need to ask priests and bishops around Ireland to renew the Eucharist. I was so impressed by those who are younger, those in their late teens, 20s, early 30s, how they respected the Eucharist. They all received kneeling on the tongue. They all went to the minister practically all of them went to the minister of the Eucharist, or tried to. Do you know what? It's encouraging. It's encouraging to see that. We need to renew the faith. We need to know what we are called to do in the church. As I was saying in other videos, I would have loved to have been priest. I felt a strong call to it, but I knew in my heart, Christ was saying, no, that's not for you. That's not where I want you. That's not what I want you to do. But Christ, has given me so much joy you couldn't imagine. And he's been overabundant in his graces, in what his mother especially, in showing me the beauty of Catholicism. And also giving me a challenge that I find very difficult, which is how to engage in a church that doesn't see the tragedy of what we've lost in the Mass in so many places. And I would just ask priests, bishops, cardinals to rethink what you're doing at the moment with those of us who love the faith, those who go to traditional Latin Mass, those that want the church to grow, to rethink and to dialogue and to walk with us, to walk with traditional Catholics. Don't just go shutting doors on what they love the most. I mean, if strange times, but I'm also asking traditional Catholics, please talk to the rest. Don't go isolating yourselves and not willing to engage with those in the church that hold different views. We have to talk. We need to form each other. We need to engage. We need to reach out, network, and so forth. And that's my plea, because it's a great temptation that I won't engage with some things, and you could be missing a beautiful message that Christ wants you to give you in a certain place or a certain time. So that's why I'm saying to traditional Catholics, please go to Lough Derg. Please go to Lough Derg. Just experience it, and bring other people along and help them. So this video went on a little bit longer. There's lots of other stuff that I'm trying to I'll unpack in the coming days. But I can't emphasize how important it is, so vitally important, that we give mentorship, leadership, direction in the faith, clear direction to our Lord. Christ is the way, and he doesn't have a confusing way. The hallmark of Christ's way is not confusion. We have to stop giving confusion in the church. We have to show our Catholic identity. We have to show the beauty of the Eucharist, to show that it's precious, the sacrament of the altar. We have to show all this, and so I'm pleading with people to really engage in that, to think about that, and to help the next generation, which is key. I mean, that the whole mission of the church, salvation of souls, is also to pass that message on, and to show that we're authentic as much as we can, which is not easy. It's not easy, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm so happy. There was another guy on the island. He had just come back from Medjugorje, and he had the same sentiment. These are not sad times, or things might be difficult, but these are times when we have to be up for the challenge. We have to be up for the challenge. We have to be those leaders. We have to say to the world, look, our faith is beautiful. Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. Via veritas et vita. Ego emi e odos. I am the way. So like we have to embody that message. We have to start writing the gospel on our heart, in our soul, meditate on it, dig into the gospel, and to transmit it to the next generation, not as something that is just written in a book, but as something that's written in our hearts, that we have digested, that has fed us. And this is critically key, guys. To lay people that are wondering what we should do, we can lead, we can help. We can make them. We can go to masses that are reverent. We can go traditional Latin mass. So many people comment on Institute of Christ the King in Belfast, the confessions. Every day they're giving confessions. Can Hebel, beautiful chapel, the silence, the prayer. That is beautiful. That is what's good, true, and beautiful in the church. And people see this, they're nourished by it, they're encouraged by it. We should grow this. We should grow it. If people want it, we should grow it. Let it out. Let the Holy Spirit work in the church. Don't be going clipping the wings. And I say this myself, Christ is there clipping my wings, saying, don't be so close-minded, don't be narrow-minded. Talk to people and understand what is true, good, and beautiful. In the Novus Order, for example, understand this. But, this is my plea to the church. We have to turn to God. You have to turn to God in the liturgy. The priest has to be holy. He has to pray the Mass. If more priests spent time being priests, praying the Mass, confessing, being ministers of the Eucharist, if priests were priests, more men would join that call. They simply would. They would see a clear identity, and we need to renew the faith in the church. We desperately do. Anyway, sorry, it went on a bit too much. A big call out and big thanks to everybody on the island that reached out to me, that people I hadn't met before. I'd see my videos and they'd reach out to me. Big call out, and thanks for the priest, the monk that brought that group. He gave great inspiration. That whole group gave great inspiration, and it's key, and it's important that we pray together, that we talk together, and we direct our lives to God now. Really, it's kind of, if only I'd have known this 20, 30 years ago, could have saved myself so much stupidity. But look, we are here. We were there. The 91 of us, supposedly on that joined that group on the Friday. We were there, and I think the Psalm 91 kind of indicates God will protect us if we give our lives to Him. And so I'm just reaching out there a little bit, still a little bit tired, but very animated, very happy. Anyway, God bless this Sunday, and pray for the church, pray for the faith, and don't worry and don't be discouraged. Christ knows what He's doing. Christ knows what He's doing, and it's the Eucharist, Our Lady, the small things. Encounter Christ in the Eucharist. That's really the incredible mystery that is life transforming. And if only the church understood, the Eucharist to its full capacity, what wouldn't happen in the church? Really, God, I think we'd be living through a new era of miracles, and God knows what would happen. Because I'm telling you, once you start getting yourself nourished with the Eucharist, something happens in your soul. Something, you're just awestruck. That's why when I say people go to traditional Latin Mass, we don't go as a sign of protest or because we hate the other Mass or anything like that. It's a sign of wonderment. It's a sign of, just for me anyway, it's that silent prayer. I'm more able to pray. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my character, but I'm just able to pray better. I think it's just the silence kind of calms down my thoughts, and I'm following the priest, what he's saying in the Mass, and I'm just praying there and giving praise and worship. I don't know. Who knows? Who am I anyway? But look, pray for the church. Be leaders. That's kind of key. And we'll keep you updated. If anyone wants to go to Lough Derg next year, we're trying to organise a bigger pilgrimage. I'll leave my email and my phone number if people were looking to contact me. My phone number's below. And just the best way is just send me a message. Don't call me, because I could be anywhere and I mightn't even answer the phone. But if you send me a message, I'll definitely pick it up. So we'll try and organise we're trying to organise a men's pilgrimage next year as well. Because I think, there are lots of issues that men deal with that you have to address in a group, and that's why I think it would be good if we did that. If we had, say, 200 men there on the island next year, I think it would be a great challenge. You'll definitely be challenged physically, because my legs are killing me from all the kneeling up and down. It was 10 kilometers of walking over the night, so we weren't just sitting down doing nothing. But it was just brilliant. It was fantastic. Couldn't say anything else about it, and it's a good program. So anyway, God bless, take care, and leave your comments below, or get the discussion going, and let me know if you have any questions. I can do another video. God bless, take care, bye bye.